This can't be easy. Every day we open a paper, we see budget cut here. You guys got a cut here. 1.2 million out of public school athletics. That's tough to swallow.
It is. It's very tough to swallow because you know what happens when that occurs. You know about the kids who never get an opportunity, and it's about opportunities for kids.
So what a relief that the HHSAA comes up with 400 grand on day one.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I think it's something that, like I said, it says they care and it's important, and it's really great to see the community come together to support our kids through athletics.
Now, the cuts through DOE for athletics, are they over and done with now? No more cuts?
We would like to think so, but given the Council on Revenues and where we are, it may come about again. Nevertheless, we know that for now, we can move forward, and that's what we want to convey. We can move, and we can do stuff.
The HHSAA, to raise this money, do they in effect save athletics on Molokai?
For us, yes, they would, yeah, because our expenses to get to, we're a tri-isle league, so for our expenses to get to Maui or Lanai are huge.
Now, I'm talking to the HHSAA athletic director over here, Keith. He's giving his own money out of his pocket to help save Molokai and Lanai.
Yes, he is. He is generously donating quite a bit of money to our school, and we greatly appreciate that. Yeah, that shows what a very wonderful man he is.
Now, with the budget cuts through DOE, that's 1.2 million across the board amongst the schools. Will some of the schools have to lose programs?
I can't answer that. I hope not. I hope not. For myself, I'm trying. I cut back travel squads. I'm probably gonna have to cut back coaches. I don't want to cut teams. Equipment and supplies. As long as we can travel, that's our main focus. Is just trying to get our teams to our league events. We can do without brand new uniforms. We can do without a lot of things, but we got to get to our league games, and that's where all of our focus is. And we hope we don't have to cut teams.
How many coaches have you had to cut?
I haven't done any cuts yet, but I have a board where I've got potential coaches if I have to cut that I'm looking at. I hope I don't have to because we're a small school. We don't have a whole lot of coaches to start with. We don't have JV programs.
And those coaches who do work for public schools pretty much work for free anyway.
Right, they do. They do. They don't even, my coaches, when I'm a new AD, when I started to hire them, they don't ask, what do I get paid? They didn't ask that. They coach because they love it. No, most of our coaches, they don't coach for the money. They coach because they love the sports and the kids.
1.2 million in budget cuts amongst public schools. That's tough to deal with.
Definitely. But, I think with all these companies, local companies stepping up, it's making it better for athletics.
Now, with the budget cuts, what does that mean for these kids? No shoulder pads, crappy helmets?
Less help. Not enough kids to monitor. You got 50 kids, 4 coaches, the ratio is 10 to 1. It's really difficult to do it.
So, from the start of this, is your first year as head coach at Pro City. You and your staff have decided we're not going to get paid. We're going to put the money back into the program. Yeah. How did that come about?
Well, basically, when we got to Pro City, we realized that, in order to get a better program, we needed to come on and have better things for our kids. When the kids feel good, they perform well, the chemistry builds. So in the whole thing in transition, we wanted to build a new beginning. Yeah? So everything that was old has been dead. A new community, new program, trying to get everything going the right way.
Now, this is basic stuff. Blocking dummies for practice, pads, everything. Yeah. They were without.
They're without, and some of the stuff are old, but still usable, but just old, So we wanted to get them up to date, and when they wear good stuff, they feel good.
Amongst the coaching community, to lose that kind of money, but for the HHSAA to come back and help fund some of these programs, that's got to feel great.
Oh yeah, actually, it's really good because, like they said, the values that the kids learn in athletics transitions into their work field. Yeah. So a lot of that stuff that we need to have the right people impacting our players that affects them in the community.
1.2 million budget cuts across the board, public schools. This is the start of helping save a lot of these programs.
Oh, there's no question. With such a large cut, there was a real possibility that some sports teams would be cut or even participation numbers would be cut because of a lack of resources like supplies, bus money or even enough coaches. So this $400,000 donation from these 4 companies is a great start. We have a ways to go, but it's a great start.
Now, I'm hearing some of the public schools. Some of the schools are telling their kids, you're on your own, get into the game. That's even more scary, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, first and foremost, that's not a way to travel for a high school game. Maybe in the youth leagues or pee-wee leagues, but on the high school level, that's really unfortunate if it comes to that, and that's why this money is going to help. There's also safety and liability concerns by having our athletes go on their own, especially if the game site is far away from their home.
Are there programs or leagues across the public system that are hurt worse than others?
There's no question. Some of our smaller schools or schools like Molokai and Lanai are hit even harder because they come from a smaller island with a smaller population base who's being hit harder by the economy. So they're really struggling, and we want to do what we can to help all of our schools, but especially our smaller schools.
So, speaking of Molokai and Lanai, you've taken that personal.
Well, my wife and I have. We feel strongly that Molokai and Lanai deserves just as many resources as their counterparts across the state. They tend to be overlooked for whatever reason, and we really wanted to make a statement that they're just as important to us as the other high schools, and we also know that they're struggling more than the other high schools, so we want to help any way we can.
Now, one of the first programs to benefit will be Pro City Football. Their coach from the beginning said, me and my staff for year 1, we're not going to take any money. We're not going to get paid. We're going to volunteer the entire season.
Well, that was really noble of them, and I have so much respect for that staff for taking that stand. But at the same time, it's unfortunate, and it really shouldn't have to come to that, where a coach and his staff has to give up their pay just to pay for basic necessities like supplies and equipment. And so, my wife and I want to do what we can to help them and help feed their families through the stipends they were counting on. Because the coaches are the backbone of our high school sports programs, and we really need to show them that we support them and want to continue what they do.
Now, $400,000 on the first phase of fundraising, that's a lot of Portuguese sausage and sweet bread right there.
Oh, that sure is. That's a lot of chili, Portuguese sausage, and bread sales, and we can't thank these 4 entities enough for stepping up, and everyone's feeling the pinch of this economic crisis, including the 4 donors today, but they feel strongly that our high school student athletes are an important investment, not only for them but for the future and well-being of the state.